so nice to be standing in front of you with these really, really bright, beautiful faces looking back at me. I've really been looking forward to this session. I know that all of you have as well. I have quite a guest to introduce today. Our guest, as you know, started her entrepreneurial journey with Svatantra Microfin, which is now the second largest and fastest growing microfinance company in India. Since then, she has established the Ananya Birla Foundation that focuses on mental health, livelihood, and social advancement, and has impacted countless lives through partnerships with over 21 nonprofits. She's also a multi-platinum selling artist. She has been on power lists and won many awards. And while on this track of immense success, she's also entered the beauty and personal care industry with Birla Cosmetics. Its debut brand, Contraband, disrupted the fragrance category, followed by her color cosmetic brand, which is Love, etc., furthering her vision to building a dynamic beauty portfolio. We extend a very, very warm welcome to the dynamic, multifaceted Ananya Birla. Hi. It's so nice to meet you.
Likewise, thank you so much. Wow, it's been fantastic. Thank you.
I've seen her a couple of times. I think she always looks fantastic. Happy that you're sitting right opposite me today, though.
Thank you. No, it's absolutely my pleasure to be here with all of you. Of course, with you, Ambika. It's always an honor.
So we're gonna start off a question that I'm sure you're very, very curious about, all of you, which is, what is a day in the life of Ananya Birla like?
Okay, so the last couple of days have actually been really, really crazy. I typically wake up in the morning. I work out in the morning. Once I work out, I go to office to complete all my business work, whether that is Svatantra, Love, etc., Contraband, IKSI, Ananya Birla Foundation, Birla Estates, Aditya Birla Global Trading. I have a fantastic team who really helps me with my time management. So I finish all my business stuff in the daytime, after which I have a studio which I have built in my office space itself. I think I came to realize that it's really important that your environment is cohesive to what you want to do. Then pretty much from 7 p.m. till 1 a.m. I'm in studio, writing music, cutting music. My producers and stuff, my music producers are in LA, so the time difference works really well. So I really don't have a life outside of what I do. But I love what I do so much. I really love what I do. And I'm so grateful that I have the ability and the environment and the right people to make it possible for me to pursue what I truly, truly love. It's not easy having two careers and multiple different brands to build and, a legacy to live up to. But I think all I can do is try my best and be the best version of myself. And I think I'm just trying to do that. So that's kind of, I would say, a day in my life. But then it depends. Like yesterday, I had a 14-hour shoot in Bombay, and then I took a flight this morning here to Pune. But then, look, I do have the luxury of taking a plane and coming to Pune, so I didn't have to do that drive. So I do understand how lucky and privileged I am, and I'm very, very grateful about those things. So I try to save on time, in places where I can. That's pretty much how it goes.
I think you're also saving on time to also make the hours count.
Absolutely.
Right?
I think time is priceless. It's something that we never get back. And I think I've learned that, it's really important to not be in a hurry. When I say time is priceless, I don't mean that we have to finish everything in a rush. I think it's really beautiful to just let time do its thing. And it's really important to settle into time. I don't know how to explain this. I think if you've experienced it, it's really just important to have do you know what I mean?
Let it flow.
Yeah,
Let it flow
exactly.
naturally.
Yeah, and not be so worried that time is running out. Because I've always had this thing while growing up that, oh my God, time is running out, there's so much to do. Until I realized that there is enough time actually in the day. It can be hard, but if you prioritize the things that you prioritize, there will always be time to do. So it's really important to... Time is a very strange sort of...
Fluid concept almost.
I feel.
It also really helps, I believe, when you're really passionate about what you do, because then just everything tends to fall into place because you're also just gunning for it to do that, which is nice.
Absolutely,
you know?
yeah, totally.
Yeah. Well, the next question's kind of related to what you were talking about, I feel, but if you could expound on that. You kind of, you successfully built Svatantra Microfin at the age of 17, by the way. Exactly. Which is powering entrepreneurs in rural India. And ever since then, you've just made move upon move. Like you said, you're so multifaceted right now, working across different brands. What lessons from that journey have shaped your approach to leadership and business today?
Yeah, lots of different... I think this is going to sound so cheesy, but just bear with me. I think building Svatantra has made me Svatantra.
Not cheesy at all.
Because I was 17 and I was living in a society where, we all are living in that society, but as a 17-year-old, I just couldn't understand why... I think I can be open in this forum,
sure.
Right? And I think y'all will connect maybe, so hopefully even if one of you connect. I think as women, if we are not... Like how Virginia Woolf says that if a woman doesn't have her own money and a room for herself, it's really hard for a woman to write fiction. Basically, she means that if we're not self-empowered in terms of financially self-empowered, it's either that your father is looking after us, our fathers are looking after us because they have, the money to do that, and then we get married, and then the husband does that. So we don't really have then a choice to make our own decisions. It's almost like I know I'm pushing it, but it's almost like we're at the mercy of someone else at all times, right? And it can be such a and as women we take that just because we're so subconsciously wired to think that that's okay, but that's not okay, right? We should have our own choice. We should be able to do what we want to do without feeling guilty. So from a very young age, I realized that if I can provide a solution to women to become financially self-sufficient, they'll be able to make decisions on their own volition, and hopefully they'll be able to live happier lives. And I thought, why not do it in semi-urban and rural India, where they actually don't just need more money, they don't want more money, they actually need money for like the basics, right? Like their children can't go to school. Forget school even, like electricity, water, like house, shelter, like the basics. So that's why I basically started Svatantra. And I guess my Marwadi background did inspire me in some ways. So in a way, funnily, while growing Svatantra and trying to provide a product for them to become self-sufficient, financially self-sufficient, I was able to do that for myself. So that's one big thing, right? Like I think it's really important for women to be financially self-sufficient. It just makes a big difference. I've seen it all around me. And it's really unfortunate because money should not make the world go round. But in some ways, it can be in the smallest nuances, right? I just see it all around me, which is... It's sad, but it's what I've noticed, and hopefully we can change that eventually, and love can be the driving factor. And then other things, like when I was 17, the team I hired, there were men in their 40s, and just to get them to buy into the vision, just being a woman. I understand I'm 17, no one's going to take you seriously. And so I think the best thing to do, which is the big lesson that I learned at that time, which I still do, is to own it, right? So to say, hey, I know I'm just 17, I know I'm a girl, and I know you're not going to take me seriously, but please try to trust me. Because then there's no barrier. It's like you've faced the elephant in the room. And that just really, really helps. So still today, like on many of these board meetings, whether it's Hindalco, whether it's Ultratech, right? I'm probably the only woman in those board meetings. And so I just make it very clear. And now, obviously, because I have a lot of work behind my back and successful work, they view me very differently. But still, I think the easiest and the best thing to do is to just face the elephant in the room, because at the end of the day, your work will speak for itself. Nothing, your age is not going to matter, your gender is not going to matter, where you come from is not going to matter. Your work and your intention is going to speak for itself. In fact, I think your age, your gender, or anything that makes you unique will actually become what is your USP in a sense. Because now look, the way she introduces me, and you're like, oh wow, 17. Like, that's become my USP. Like, I would have never thought that I used to come back from office and cry in the bathroom like a little kid. Because I was a little kid. So what you're finding really hard right now, what you think is a challenge for you right now, is probably what is your biggest blessing.
The crying in the bathroom is so true, because then you also have to wipe off those tears, get back out
Absolutely.
there and finish the job. And that doesn't matter whether you learn the lesson at 17 or at 25 or at 40 or 55. You got to dust yourself off and get right back out there, right?
And I think the crying is actually really important.
Very.
Because it's so cathartic to let that out. I think the worst thing we can do for ourselves is like keep it all in. So whether that is through any sort of art form, whether that is through talking to a friend, whether that is through journaling, it's so important to let that out. And yes, I think it's a Chinese proverb, fall down 7, stand up 8. The falling down just really doesn't matter. It's all about the way we come back up.
I was also going to ask you about the biggest challenges that you faced in gaining credibility and how you overcame them. What came after you grew? Because 17, obviously this was a huge lesson, and I believe you also learned how to, at least what I'm hearing from you, is also learning very smart communication skills and learning how to, loosen the valve when need be. It's incredible to me that you learned that at 17. That's very, very young. Were there any other challenges that you found came your way as you started growing and started doing more and more?
Yeah, of course, the background that I come from, I'm super, super grateful, and it goes without saying, like I feel very, very blessed. But anything that's really powerful, let's take love for example, right? Something, it can be super, super amazing, and then it can get really toxic and it can destroy us, right? Not destroy, but it can be bad. Or like AI for that matter, or like the internet or social media, anything that's really powerful and it's a dichotomy, right? It can be really, really good or really, really bad. So I mean, I've grown up listening to कि ये तो बिरला की बेटी है, like इसने तो क्या किया है, everything's very easy for her, everything's on a platter for her, and I just don't refute it honestly, because I don't know, maybe it was easier for me, maybe if I didn't have my last name, it would have been much harder, and I also don't blame others, because they probably have had it much harder than me, and the only thing I can do is look up to them for their journey and feel grateful that I know my truth. And I just don't say anything. I just wish them well. So no matter what you do, whoever you are, wherever you come from, people will always have something to say.
100%.
And that actually has nothing to do with you. It has more to do with them. So just even something like it's a little bit of a tangent. I'm tired.
Tangent.
Like the tangential. Sorry, thought. Thank you guys for being so kind to my a little bit slow brain today. But like the way this I've learned this while like I read a lot of classics and books, and I think it's given me a lot of insight into human psychology. And business is basically human psychology, right?
100%.
Whether that's marketing, whether that is anything, it's about understanding human beings. The way a character. So firstly, we all are unreliable narrators, right? Because the way I tell my story will be from the way I have viewed something.
Your perspective.
From my perspective. So actually the way I may describe this place may be complete. Let's say we have an artist sketching something, right? And I'm describing this place. He'll sketch something. Let's say you describe the same place. What he sketches is probably going to be really different. So the way we view the world is more about the way we see it, is more about our experiences, it's more about our schemas than actually what the world is. And it goes back to the same thing, right? Like when someone says something, it's more about them than us.
Their point of view.
It has nothing to do with us, right? And so the only thing, and even though it's really hard, the only thing we can do is tell ourselves, let's say someone you're sitting, or you read a hate comment or whatever, right? Just have to take a breath and say, this has nothing to do with me. I'm not going to take it personally. I'm going to send love to this person and I'm going to move on. And I know it's really, really hard in that moment, but honestly, it's made a hell of a difference for me.
Honestly, that just shows a lot of maturity as well on a completely different level. You know, you're absolutely right. And I just wanted to add something to this. Sometimes, like she said, you know, wherever it is that you come from, your work speaks for itself. So when you heard her describe her day, which was the very first question, you know, when I was listening to her speak, I thought, when does she sleep? You know, so I think.
But you know, I need like 8 hours of sleep at least, and I get that in. So I'm good, yeah. But thank you so much.
But it's the truth, right?
No, it is. I get your point. I don't recommend this lifestyle to anyone unless you're super, super passionate about what you do, because it is going to take a toll. And you do have to take care of yourself. Like, I make sure that I have my massages. I make sure that, you know, my diet is on point. I go to the gym. Like, it's almost like you have to treat yourself like an athlete. And then you have to have the right, it takes a village. You have to have the right people around you to make sure that you're drinking your water. Like, I am just like maybe the face of it, but behind me, like there's a ton that goes on that's probably way heavier. So, yeah.
That, and just again, what I'm getting from this is just it's so great to see you making so many smart decisions for yourself as well. You can only, you know, have the life that you want if you're being kind to yourself and recognizing what you need, you know?
Thank you. Yeah, I really think that we're just all of us here are just one decision away from the life that you want to live, whatever that may be.
Yeah. Gonna jump to another tangent.
Yes.
How do you ensure that every venture, you've had so many different ventures, you step into aligns with your core values?
So before starting a venture, before getting involved in a venture, I make sure that I have my why very clearly. Because if you don't have that why, then when times get really hard, there's nothing to push you beyond a point. Then discipline has to kick in. Motivation is not going to always be there. Inspiration is not always going to be there. That's when things like discipline need to kick in. And I think for me personally, that kicks in when I know the why. And mostly it's got to do with impact on other people. That's pretty much it, just having your... So there's this guy who did Simon Sinek. I can't pronounce his last name, I'm sorry. Right? So he... there was a TED talk that he had called Why, and then now I think there's a book as well. It's a best-selling book. And then I have not read the book, but I went through his TED talk and it kind of really matched with what I felt. And I truly, truly believe in that. Like, if you know why you're doing what you're doing in your core, and that could be different things, right? For different businesses or for different, it could be anything. It's like a reason of why you want to get married, right?
Like that clarity of thought.
Of knowing why, which kind of kicks in every time you're having a hard time. Like, if you want to stay in your marriage, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, and it's very controversial. Let's say you want to stay in a marriage even though the marriage is not happy because of your children, but you're really, really sure about it, then you're sure about it. So every time it gets super hard, you just remind yourself that this is my why. So that why becomes very, very important.
It's the right basis for, it's the strong enough foundation to build something on.
Yeah,
and if you don't have a foundation, you have nothing.
Exactly. Like there's no direction then to start from. There's no anchor. Let's call it an anchor. Yeah.
Makes sense. You've also recently made some really big moves in the beauty and personal care and fragrance spaces with both LOVETC and Contraband. What inspired these moves, and what gaps in the market are you hoping to address?
So, you know, like while growing up, and still even though I'm trying now more to wear and to appreciate Indian indie brands, I personally have always looked up to Western brands. I think kind of we all do, right? So that's a Gucci, Prada, Louis Vuitton. And I'm just like, we have everything in India. Mm-hmm. We have like such bright people, like we are beautiful, we are intelligent, we're smart. Why can't we consume our own stuff? Why can't we build something for once that goes west? Instead of everything coming east, let a brand go west. And that's basically what inspired LOVETC and Contraband both. That's number one. Number two is I don't think luxury has anything to do with price point. I think luxury is about something that makes you feel good. It can literally be a necklace, which you have bought, I don't know, in a market for like $200, but it makes you feel good, right? And that's what luxury is for me. It's in a chaotic world, in a crazy day. If you look at something and it can make you feel good, and I'm talking more about inanimate objects. Yeah, is it inanimate, right? Yeah. And that's the basic point with Contraband and with Love, etc. And point number three is that can we provide a better product in terms of quality, in terms of look and feel, at a much better price point? So instead of you having to go to, let's say, nothing against them, let's say like a Hugo Boss or a Versace for that matter, or any other fragrance, a Creed, would you, I mean, if you come to Contraband, are we able to, as a brand, provide you with that emotional connect, with a fabulous product that, so whatever that category is, right? So for fragrances, consumers want it to be a representation of whatever they're doing. If it's a day, night, they want it to be long lasting. They want it to be a reflection of their personality. How is the packaging? But can we provide all of that to you at a price point that's much less than any of these international brands? And that's what the point is with Love, etc. and with Contraband. Not saying that we won't go up the ladder in terms of price. I think that's, then it gives me more margin to like make it a gold bottle, which as Indians, we love gold and things like that, because at the end of the day, it's a business. But right now, the point is to provide you guys, and consumers deserve that. All of you work so hard, right? To provide an Indian option for, I think you understand, like, why can't
quality.
we not? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like fabulous quality at an affordable price that is born in India by an Indian. But we source from all over the world. Like our fragrances are from Grasse, which is near Nice in France, south of France.
Super famous for its fragrance notes and everything, of course.
And then Love, etc., mostly Germany, Italy. Our lip balm is from Korea. So they're all designed in India, all put together in India. The entire team is Indian. So those are the three main points.
From the world to India, basically, and making it something uniquely ours.
I think from India to the world. Yeah, from world to India and India to the world.
To the world, which is really beautiful, right?
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. I would say it's just like, it's a lot of teamwork. Yeah.
Collaboration is also key, isn't it?
Collaboration is everything. I mean, it's not, like I said, it's a village. I'm just the one talking here, but there's a lot. My entire team and my family, my friends, it's a lot.
I also absolutely love the name Love, etc. So can you tell me a little bit about like the origin story of the brand, where you got the name from, and why it's also the perfect name for what you're trying to achieve?
Because I think the fact that we want to try to look better, or a certain way, let's say, whether that is for ourselves or whether that's for somebody else, it's because we love either ourselves or we love the world or we love someone else. It all starts from love, right? I think at the end of the day, love is what makes the world go round. I don't mean romantic love, I mean love for anything. Love for your kids, love for food, love for what you do, love for anything. I think love is it's a very pure emotion that makes the world go round.
It powers everything.
Absolutely, right? Like if you come from a place of love and the etc., because there's so much talk about self-love and blah, blah, blah. And I think we all know that now. And it's still important to keep reiterating it. But then it's also really important to not forget to have fun. Like life is really short and I don't think we want it to be too long. So that etc. is just for everything that may be fun for you. Maybe that's a night out drinking with your friends. Maybe that's a night in watching a movie. Maybe that's a date. Maybe that could be anything. Maybe that's just like going and like getting like a massage. It could be anything. So Love, etc. is all about owning that sense of who you are, loving yourself, and then not forgetting to have fun. The deeper layer to the name is that I actually I just have one makeup artist, and her name is Loveleen Ramchandani. And I am very, very, very finicky about my skin on my face. Like, I'm very OCD about it. And I really wanted, and she leads product. She's obviously the celebrity makeup artist behind it as well. And my introduction to the world of makeup happened because of her. My mom doesn't put any makeup, so I've never seen it while growing up. So I really wanted, in the name itself, to have an ode to Loveleen, and we all call her Love. But obviously, you know, she's very reserved and in a good way, and she doesn't like to talk about herself. So I don't say this to too many people, but that's also a core reason of why I wanted love in the name. So Love, etc. kind of just encapsulated all of those things for me.
That's such a, I'm going to say, lovely thought. You seem like a very loyal person. Like when somebody actually, it's for me, I'm sorry, I'm coming from my personal point of view and biases, I'm sure, as you said earlier, but it's so lovely to hear that you have this one person who's always kind of stood by you and understands your, you know, your vibe and your skin, and you're also paying homage to them. It's a lovely relationship.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, what's going to matter is the people who you loved and who loved you back, right? And that could be even a stranger. Like, strangers have had a huge impact on me in ways that I can't explain. And like I said, love makes the world go round. Yeah, man, I can't explain, my friends and family and my team, the amount that they've done for me. At Svatantra, for example, my leadership team, when I started at 17, is still with me today.
Oh, wow.
All of them. And I've pushed a lot of the retirements and stuff, because I'm like, I'm not having you retire. And they're like, we don't want to retire either.
Standing by you.
And I get lovely messages even from people who've left Svatantra, right? Saying, so actually I can read a message I got yesterday.
Please do.
Akshita, you have my phone, I think. So yeah, I think loyalty is a trait that I'm very, very loyal. But that's also because everyone around me is very, very loyal to me as well. So I'm not some large-hearted person. It's not like that. It's a two-way street. But we've all gone through some crazy things together.
I think everybody can see why people stick around with her, though. I'm just going to put it out there.
No, it's just, honestly, so I got a text from someone who had left Svatantra, not just because of the ways. So he messaged me saying, good evening, Ms. Birla. Trust you're doing well. Was speaking with X, who was managing X for us in housing today for some work. He's in Chennai in X Microfinance. He was so emotional on the call while saying that he is respected more because of his association with Svatantra and you than his education at IIM Indore. I felt very proud while listening to this and said that I share the same sentiment. Thought of sharing it with you. Warm regards, X.
It's incredible. Yeah. My God, that must have really got you on in the fields when you read that, though.
It was really nice. And so still the way he talks, for example, and everyone is like this. So I said, this is so lovely to hear. How have you been? I keep thinking of your daughter, wishing her the best. If you need anything, I'm here. So I said, it's been a hard time for the industry, but with God's grace and the team's strength, we've been able to stand tall. He said, yes, keep hearing good things about Svatantra. And he said, we do have a good team and we are in good hands. So he still refers to us as we. The magic and culture at Svatantra is virtually impossible to recreate. I realize this now after being outside. All of us, while in Svatantra, derived a lot of strength. Whatever. He went from you, thanks for letting us do this. So it's just so nice to hear that it goes just beyond the fact that at that time, typically because I'm paying somebody there, it's not that. It genuinely goes beyond that. And I think that's really important.
Relationships are just so important. They are strong ones.
And it's also just as important to put a boundary down when you feel like someone is not good for you.
That's a tough lesson to learn.
Yeah. And I've learned it the hard way. I think we all learned that the hard way. But we don't owe an explanation to anybody for anything. If energetically something feels wrong, just the way relationships are, because they're so important, right? Like I was saying, when something is so important, it can also have the adverse effect. It's also really important to realize when someone's energy is not matching yours for whatever reason and put a boundary down.
Something I still struggle with.
I mean,
personally speaking.
I do it now, but with a lot of guilt. I have a lot of guilt around it, but I still do it. But to do it, it took 10 years. Now at 30, I can do it, but it's with a lot of guilt. By the time I'm 40, hopefully the guilt will go.
Guilt will go.
So it's a journey.
So true. I kind of also wanted to ask a similar question about Contraband. By the way, the brand is incredible. I love the bottles.
Thank you. Yeah.
Stunning, stunning bottles. Such an intriguing name again for a brand. Could you tell me a little bit
I
about
would
the
love
story
to,
behind
because
it?
this is a complete. Okay, so the category code for fragrances as a whole is desire. So if you'll watch any adverts, etc., subconsciously you'll see like a man, like a typically societally typically attractive man or woman holding the bottle in a particular way, right? Or like, it's all about, because we do put on perfume to feel good about ourselves, to smell good. It is about desire, right? So Contraband is a name it's a bit risky, right? But what I was trying to, so that kind of fits in with the whole desire thing. Like, it's so bad that it's good. That I was trying to hit that emotion.
And that you need it.
Exactly. However, on a deeper level, I think I was trying to say that not in terms of contraband as in illegal goods, in terms of log kya kahenge, like, so it's okay to cross that line. So if you see on our packaging, there's a red line, and that red line is like society, right? Like, or even our own
mental boundaries.
Boundaries, right? And I'm not saying do anything illegal at all. I don't stand for that at all. We're all upright citizens here. I'm talking about more contraband, all the contraband things that our parents have told us we can't do, society has told us we can't do. Log kya kahenge? Like, it's about being, it's like, it's okay to not follow the rat race, because even if you win, you're still going to be a rat. It's you have to follow your heart. You do what you want to do, and that's what Contraband is all about. Contraband is about owning who you are and not giving two fucks about it. Sorry for my French. So, like, that's Contraband. It's like owning the room, being who you are. And if someone doesn't like you for that, you know what? That's fine. We don't like everybody ourselves.
That's true.
Right? Like, I sometimes I feel like, oh, this person doesn't like me. I'm like, what am I going on about? Like, I don't like I don't like so many people. How can I expect that, like, everybody should like me? Like, what sort of double standard am I sitting on? So that's what Contraband is about. It's about not worrying about log kya kahenge, not worrying about, because there's so much of it in our society, and it like drives me crazy. Like, don't want to get married, don't get married. Don't want to do that job, don't do that job. I'm not saying be rebellious. I think it's very important to be respectful. I think it's very important to, be there for family and friends, to respect your parents, it's a big difference, but there's a very fine line between being rebellious and being contraband. I think it's more about be who you are unapologetically, without worrying about what other people are going to say or think.
I don't know if this is a stretch, but just listening to everything that you said, please correct me if I'm wrong though, but what I'm hearing from you now, I personally feel started at 17. You know what you were talking about with our first question about Svatantra?
Yeah.
Learning to kind of have freedom to be yourself and know who you are. And I don't know, I'm finding a lovely little full circle moment.
No, absolutely. So to give you, I'm so glad. I mean, the fact that you noticed that you probably have a very high EQ. I mean, Femina, of course you do. So anything about me that I find I've really worked on, or I find, I would never say this in the past because I always feel very guilty. Like, I find appealing to myself. I like to make that into a world, which is a brand. A brand is nothing but a world that you're building, which is emotions that someone else can tap into, that they may feel as well.
Inviting them into that world.
Exactly, right? And then whatever about myself that I find not so appealing, I make that into my art, because it's cathartic. So that's how I split. I'm letting out a lot of secrets. So that's how I split my left brain and right brain. That's how I create my worlds. That's how I sort of work with the draws in my mind.
That's how you balance them out too. By
That's why
exercising both.
I need both actually, because that's how I sort of function as a person now. So anything that I don't like about myself obviously bothers me as well, right? Because let's say it's a repetitive thought, or it's an anxiety, or I'm going through a bout of depression. I think expression is really important, and that for me I do, because I can't create a brand around that, right? There has to be aspiration. You can do stuff through your foundation, etc. But that I tend to then make it into my artistic. So if I'm for example, I'm obsessed with chai to a point that it can be bad for you, right?
Okay.
So yesterday, for a song that I'm recording, which I don't know when I'll release or if I'll ever release, I'm doing it for myself, and I love that. I was literally in a life-size chai. Like I was inside a chai bottle.
Okay.
Right? Or like, you know how we all have, I don't know, I shouldn't say we all, but sometimes, I don't know how many of you have had like a craving for like chalk. Anybody? Okay, right?
Clearly not the only one.
So like I pushed that a bit, and in the music video I was eating gravel. Because many people also like crave like that cement gravel, right? So the thing is to not shy away from these edges, right? But I can't make this into a brand.
No.
So I use these in my creative expression. So the video, if it's ever released in my life, you'll see it's absurd, because that's I channelize the absurdity in my brain in my art or in my poetry. And the things that I find quite refined about myself, or the things I've learned, I make them into brand worlds, whether that's Love, etc., whether that's Contraband, whether that's Ikayasai, whether that is Svatantra. And that's how I think I function, yeah.
There's such a common thread into all of this, right? With everything that she's been talking about, having purpose and clarity of thought and vision, etc.
Purpose and why. Purpose is
and
everything,
the why,
right? Yeah.
and the why, which is clarity. Exactly. And even, I mean, what I'm picking up is, I talked to you a little bit about this earlier, about just the importance of communication and understanding how to open the valve, because what you're channeling into music is also kind of what you said, catharsis.
Exactly.
It's opening that valve.
And
out.
truth. I think if you speak your truth, no matter how absurd it is, somebody in this world will connect with it, and that's all you need. Authenticity, yeah. Like
100%.
It's like there are more people who will understand. The fear that we have ourselves is way more than, like, once you let it out, you'll be surprised to see how many people actually understand you.
That you're not alone.
You're never alone.
Never alone. We've just got a couple of questions left. I could talk to her all day, but I'm just letting everybody know so you don't get mad at me later.
Are we opening up questions to the audience as well? Okay. Don't feel any pressure to ask any question. Like if you're getting bored, you can get up and leave as well. It's totally chill. Like,
Is anybody bored? Really?
No, like truly. No, it's so sweet.
So I also want to know, with everything that you do, how do you stop something from being diluted by trend or something that's of the moment?
I think it's a very, very good question. I think it can be very tempting, right? Like when you see all these labubus everywhere, you want to get one.
I have.
But that's okay. Like the thing is, if you actually like it, please go ahead. I genuinely don't like it, so I didn't get one because I didn't understand. I found them ugly, and it's probably unpopular opinion. I have nothing against the founder. I mean, whoever has created it. It personally didn't click with me, just like my art won't click with many people, right? So it's very important to be authentic to yourself. So if a trend is clicking for you, please go ahead and do it. But if it doesn't feel like you, don't feel that pressure to do it because it's just not you. So you say like, I don't know if any of you are on Instagram trying to build profiles, right? Like you'll have agencies who tell you like you have to hop onto this trend, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you may get followers faster, but will those followers be sticky? I don't know. If you're authentic, it's a longer journey, but it's a more legendary one. So if you have the time to stick it out, I would highly suggest that you go the authentic route. But once in a while, hopping onto a trend just to get more reach on the algorithm, it's fine, just do it. But I think just like, I don't even want to like come across like overthink everything. Don't. Just go with the flow. If it feels like doing it, just do it. That's the thing with trends. Just be aware. Even if you're blindly following it, be aware that you're blindly following it and you're fine. That's what I would say. Like, I think the best example I could think of was the boo-boo. Now I feel bad for saying that. But you know what I mean? Like, there's no pressure like to have like a Birkin and a Labubu on it. Like,
so true.
I love Birkins. I think they're too expensive, so I'd rather put that money somewhere else. But there's no, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, don't put that pressure on yourself.
I think the balance is important. This is something that we also have to really keep in mind, being in charge of a brand as well. I think the cool thing about being authentic is that, look, there's new stuff hitting us every day. There's so much information out there. If you are authentic and you get into something that you like, it isn't a trend anymore. It's just a new interest.
But you know what happens over time is you become that trend.
Yeah. Just for the record also, I like Labubus because they look cute, but they also look vaguely murderous. Which
I love that. I love that. See, the cool thing is it resonated with you, right?
The psychosis behind the eyes is what I really loved. And I felt that.
I love that. I love that. I watch murder documentaries all the time. Same. And I love it.
There you go.
And recently I read that people who watch murder documentaries can have psychopathic tendencies. I'm like,
I
don't know what that says about me.
Really high IQs is what I read. I don't know if I found that bit of information for myself to make myself feel better.
Yeah, I know.
But that's the truth of it. Okay, so we're at the last question for the evening. For me, I just wanted to know, what is next? Are we standing on the cusp of a massive Ananya Birla empire? Because I feel we are.
Are we?
We are. We 100% are.
I don't know, man. I put a lot of pressure on myself, which is not good for me. Like in the car, Loveleen was telling me. Loveleen always comes up, like every time I do something like this one's obviously special, it's really authentic. I try to do authentic. Love, are you here? Oh, she went to her mom's place? Oh, so her mom lives in Pune, and she doesn't know only what I've said. Wow. I guess that makes it more special in some ways.
That's actually more loving.
Yeah. So Love told me in the car something, she said, don't put so much pressure on yourself. Like, why are you putting so much pressure on yourself? I put a lot of pressure on myself, and it's all self-induced. And I can drive myself crazy. I do not recommend it. So I'm just like trying to live every day to its maximum potential. I'm trying to enjoy the journey as much as I possibly can, because I think this is what will matter. The journey is what will matter. And then, of course, the milestones come. But there's no real finish line to this. I hope I can add to my legacy. I am already involved in many of the group companies. I don't know, I'll keep making art. And I'm trying to have a mix of holding life by its horns and then not holding it by its horns, because life is just going to be life in any case. And I think control is the worst thing we can do for ourselves, because the truth of the matter is we're in control of nothing. And that's probably going to trigger half this room.
No, it's so true though.
And the point is that once I realized that I don't control anything, I can't control anything, the liberation that gave me was next level. So even with the businesses, I try my best, and then I just leave the rest to God, universe, whoever, right? You can't do more than your best. So if an empire happens, it happens, and if it all crashes, it all crashes. I mean, what do I do?
If it crashes, she'll release it into music.
Yeah, exactly. There's some hope.
That's what I'm saying. So continue driving yourself nuts, because that way we get more music as well, right?
But I do think that I would like to sort of end our chat by saying that we have our plans, right? We have so many plans that we want to do this by the age of this, because obviously we have like a body clock as well, and this and that. But if it doesn't go as per your plan, it's going by God's plan, and that'll always be better than your plan. Like, please keep that in mind. So please, like, trust your journey and know that you are exactly where you should be. And please try to like just, I can see her like, was that a good relief or a bad relief? Oh, it's good. She went like this. And I was like,
That was her catharsis.
I was like, I've either stressed her out or like all these timelines we put on ourselves, like be married by this age, have kids at this age as women, like my business should be here by this age. You know what? It's all constructed. That's a time thing I was talking about. Like it's a construction we have made because society has been like that, and so it's built in. The truth of the matter is that none of it is going to matter. Like when I don't want to make it like very but like on our deathbed, is that going to matter? Like it's going to be who's around us, right? It's going to be what impact you've had on people. And that's really important to keep in mind, that just enjoy each day and just have faith and trust that everything is working in your favor. Like everything is happening to teach us something, no matter how bad that may be, and you can't see it in that moment, but you look back and be like, oh, like that heartbreak actually taught me so much, and now I'm with someone who's so loving. It could be anything. So just we need to keep in mind that the world and the universe and God, whoever you believe in, or even if you don't believe in anything, time or like whatever, like you're sitting right now, it's work, everything is here for you. You're the main character in your journey.
What a wonderful way to end this session. What a beautiful thought. Please give it up for Ananya. That was really lovely.
No, thank you so much for having me. And yeah, I'm a little low on energy. Sorry if I
don't know what it would be if you were high on energy, because in my opinion, this went exactly the way it was supposed to go. Like what you said, right? Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you all lovely people for being here.
Thank you, Ananya. Thank you, Ambika, for that wonderful interaction. We've learned so much from this afternoon. So our members have a few questions. Over to them.
Hi, Ananya.
Hi.
I'm Neha. And
Hi, Neha.
welcome to Pune.
Thank you so much for the bouquet of flowers in the beginning. It was
Yeah,
very
I
beautiful.
forgot the book actually.
No, that's okay.
I'll
I love
give it to
reading.
you. Yeah. So, firstly, I resonated so much with what you said. You know, as a women entrepreneur, I think all that you said, the struggles, the challenges, were so relevant. We are actually building a health and wellness brand, which is called We Evolve. Your V is for a collective and Evolve is for evolution. And you're doing some amazing work with your foundation on mental health. And I'm very curious to know what's your vision ahead for it, and are you open to collaborations? Are you building a community?
Of course, would love to
happening?
collaborate with you. We can have a chat. You can give me your card or your number, and we can figure it out. If we're on similar missions.
Yeah.
I think mental health is super, super, super important. I think the mind and body are all connected. We have more
Absolutely.
neurotransmitters in our stomach than we do in our brain,
Oh yeah, the gut health.
right? So like
yeah.
now it makes sense. Like before all those sports days when I would get loose motions, like I was nervous as a child, right?
Yeah.
So the mission with that is to create, I don't think it's going to happen in my lifetime, but to create an equal world of equal opportunities, regardless
love
of
that.
what like having a mental illness is not something that makes anybody any less. In fact, I think it gives you a different view on life. I've had my own struggles with it, whether that's panic attacks, whether that's bouts of depression, right? And I think getting over that makes you so much stronger. I would love for physical health and mental health to be seen in the same way. I would, there was someone who was working with me, and he's very open about it, so I can say this. He was, I can say was because he's not relapsed, and I hope he doesn't. An alcoholic, actually, really, really bad, and reached a point where his family was giving him more alcohol because otherwise he was just spiraling. So I literally went to his house with like a group of doctors, and I don't know whether he was hallucinating, but he thought I was an angel and he thought I was his grandmom, and he finally agreed to go to rehab, and I had to take him to Messina to detoxify him, and then I had to send him to somewhere in Pune. But him not wanting to go to a rehab was very valid because of the experiences he's had in the past, right? We don't have anywhere where they feel safe. Like they hit them, they beat them up, they treat them like
it's bad.
like they're
Yeah.
literally mad, when actually addiction is actually just a mental health disorder. It's a crutch. Maybe the pain got too much. Maybe it's genetically, he's genetically predisposed. I don't know the history of that. I'm not a doctor. But the point is that it's very real and it's not the person's fault. And there's so much stigma around it for what? Like, it's really, I think it's so unnecessary.
Absolutely.
So that's the mission with it. So at office, for example, like there are mental health leaves as well. So there's physical health and mental health. And you just apply for it. Like, I have too much anxiety today, I can't come to office. It's so understandable. Like, I take it myself, you know. So that's the whole vision with it, is to make it a more equal world. People who have mental health disorders don't get hired at jobs. And I think it's so unnecessary. I think if where the right medication is given to them, the right environment is given, I think anyone can get through anything in life. And it's the same for anyone who has a really bad physical illness, right? They can't possibly work as well. So what's the difference? And it's nothing against anyone with, physical stuff is really, really bad and terrible as well. But I think mental health deserves the same platform. And that's what I am working towards. So we're building rehab centers and things like that. There's literally nowhere to go where you get a decent enough service where you can trust your loved ones or someone from your team going. I literally had to send him to somewhere in Pune. Somewhere here, wait. Where did... Sorry? Samarpan is where he came, right? And he felt so much better after that, and he feels like a renewed person. But this is after like multiple relapses. Imagine if there was just one place where I could have sent him right in the beginning, and it would have reduced so much of his pain.
In fact, we're trying to do something similar near Pune.
Would love to hear more about your work.
We should sit and talk on this.
No, for sure. Would love that.
But amazing. Yeah.
Hi, Ananya.
Hi, how are you?
Very well. I'm Sangeeta Roy Chaudhary. You have been somebody who's inspiring many people, okay? Like Sushmita Sen, Priyanka Chopra, you're the third person, always comes on my list. The way you kind of motivate people, the way you are changing the narrative.
That really means a lot.
So I have one question. I've heard your interview, why not build sons? Why only build sons, not build sons and daughter? I've heard your interview, a music which Papa kehte hai, beti naam karegi. This is very, very powerful. This is the way you're actually changing narrative. The question to you, what do you think women entrepreneurs today need the most? And what you never had when you started? What you wish to have when you started?
I think the second part of the question, I don't want to delve into, because I had everything, like I think I'm very grateful, and I think 99.999% of people have it much harder than me. So for me to sit here and talk about that feels very wrong. First half, both great questions, by the way. So thank you. And what you said, honestly, it means a lot, but it's also making me think, I hope after meeting me, they say never meet your idols because you'll always be disappointed. You're going to go back to your family and say, man,
I've been more motivated all the...
Okay. No, so to answer the first part of your question, what do we... I think... Number one, we need to believe in ourselves more. I think we're fed a lot of things. So to differentiate between if a voice is talking in our brain, right? We all have thoughts. Is this thought something that I think, or is this a thought that has been told to me? That's number one, to differentiate that. Number two, I think we really need supportive people around us who believe in us. And that doesn't have to be hundreds of people. It could be one person who believes in you. It doesn't have to be a spouse or anything like that. It can be one, it can be a best friend, it can be even a stranger, just someone who believes in you. It makes a hell of a difference. Like, I can't tell you, just someone saying, no, you can do it, right? Number three is positive affirmations. I do it every single morning. So just write it like on a, it can sound really silly, but you'll see effects like after like 90 days or so. Like on a post-it, put up like affirmations like, I am beautiful, I am strong, I can do this. Nothing negative, because the universe then, and this is nothing like manifestation or anything, it's just very scientific it's like what you tell yourself is what happens. So there was a like the way we talk to ourselves changes everything. So there was you probably saw, I don't know whether you guys saw this on Instagram. There was a scientist who did this experiment. He took 2 glasses of water. Yeah, y'all know that. So I'll just finish the story anyways for the ones who don't, because he kept saying bad things to 1 glass of water and good things to 1 glass of water. And the way the molecules shifted was just insane, right? So positivity and positive thoughts do have obviously a huge... and then obviously, you know, having... I hate, and it's a very strong word, I hate to say this, but having a man support, it does help. Like it is a man's world, and we're trying to change it. I think it's good to accept that it is a man's world. We're changing it. Not that you can't do it if you don't have a man's support, but having a man's support makes it a little bit easier. We're talking all truths today. It's an unfortunate truth. I don't know. I think you should take this as well.
I think it helps having that in your corner.
It helps.
Yeah, and you should have everything at your disposal. What am I saying? At your disposal, not your disposable.
You're having sympathy pains.
Shouldn't say that about
me.
men. Sorry.
No, it's just like
for myself. I'm just saying you need to have all that support. And to be honest, I think it's also connected with what you were trying to say about the law of attraction.
Yeah.
If you're trying to sow an equal world, you have to show the equality as well.
And then from a more technical point of view, which we can chat, which I like, no, I don't like to get too much into detail because it can get boring, is having the right investors who believe in you. Like the investors that I got multiple in Advent, I think it was like 2,000 something crores into Svatantra. Like the way they believe in me, the way they believe in your vision. Have people, your team needs to believe in your vision the way you believe in your vision, or if not, at least 80%. So it's about surrounding yourself with the right people, and then just cutting the noise. Like what we consume is like these cheap dopamine hits we get, we don't even realize, and then the amount you touch your phone, you know, things like that. Change that with a walk in nature, the food you put in your body. It's all about these small habits that then... So make a list of things you want to achieve in a year, let's say 3 years, maybe, or however long, and then see if your daily habits match up to those 3 goals. So I have like buckets in my head, and then every time I finish something, I see, okay, this goes into that bucket. And don't forget to add fun and rest, because that is also productive. And it's so good to not be, it's so productive to not be productive. And it's also okay to not be productive, right? So just make sure that you know, have some sense of where you're at. And if you don't know where you're at, just know you don't know where you're at. And that's more than enough.
Hi Ananya, this
Hi.
is Harshita Srivastava. Love to be here, and your talks are really very empowering. I have a very small question. Like you have started Svatantra at the age of 17, now Love etc. and other brands. You are into philanthropy and everything. So in this startup, in this noisy startup space, what exactly makes a brand magnetic? What are the things that can change a brand? What will attract the brands? Because we are so many entrepreneurs
absolutely,
who are planning to maybe launch something, or who have already started something.
Great question. And I can go on and on about this, but I'll try to keep it short. Number one is product excellence goes without saying. So product market fit is something that goes without saying. Whatever that product may be, you have to understand your consumer and what are you solving for that person. Are you solving? So when we call a plumber, it's because we have a problem. So you need to understand what is your product solving, and is it solving it either faster, better, more cheaply than your competitors. So one is what is your product solving? Product market fit. And the next thing is product market fit. There's so many points in my head. Just one second. Let me try to put it together. So my thought process. Product market fit. And then really figuring out if, like, what makes your brand your brand? Like I call it the moat. Like what is it? Like what is going to stop me from replicating your brand? What is your USP? What are you bringing to the market that somebody else doesn't have? That doesn't necessarily mean going from 0 to 1. So by that I mean is from a Xerox machine going to a printer. That's 0 to 1. 0 to 0. That's kind of what I did with Svatantra, I would say a little bit, because with the social collateral and things. With Contraband, Love, etc., I'm not going 0 to 1. I'm 0 to 0 only, right? I'm not providing a product that's... But within that in itself, what is that core idea that you have that is a little bit different from what other people are doing? So why should I as a consumer buy into your brand compared to, or your product, right? So all of this goes without saying. Community is super important. Like, what did Miu Miu do that made them go up in a luxury market that was going down? In the typical luxury market, not the luxury that I was talking about. I think they were able to build a community really well. So whether that was around food, you must have seen stuff right on Instagram. 80% of it's called the Pareto rule, 80% of your main consumers, your main customers will be repeat customers. Correct. So what are you doing for them? And then, of course, it's really important to make sure that, so for example, I'll give you my example, Love, etc., brand ambassador, Janvi Kapoor, right? We got her contract with Nykaa got over. I think my ego loves it, and we got and she's awesome. She's great, right? That opens the door for us. It may give us more reach, but is that going to make us successful? No. What's going to make Love, etc. successful, if it's ever successful, is emotional equity. Are my consumers, my customers buying into the ethos of my brand, which goes much beyond just my product? It's about how my product makes them feel. It's about the packaging. It's about everything, right? It's about what Steve Jobs was able to do. Steve Jobs didn't go from 0 to 1. The computer was already there. He just packaged it. He was a designer. He packaged it better, right? It's about storytelling. Coming to storytelling, extremely important, right? So whether you now in this world of social media, unfortunately or fortunately, using social media to your advantage, super important. Having a strong team, super important. Small things which are really big things, like your performance marketing, what is going into performance marketing, what is going into brand building, having your budgets in place. I can keep going on and on. Or even if things are not in place, they'll get into place, right? It's just a matter of and then having a very strong MIS, I think, is really important, so you can monitor what's going on. Very important. And then as a founder, it all is going to come back to you in the sense that who you are, in a very weird way, will reflect in your brand. I don't know how to explain this. The culture that you build with your people, it's going to be about that. It's going to be about the culture that you have. I can see that the way I am, my values, and even all my terrible qualities are there in the brands that I have. It's just, I can't explain it. It just happens naturally, right? So keeping a check on yourself, and most importantly, remembering that at the end of the day, we're all students of life. So learning is super, super, super important. So I'm an Oxford dropout, because then at that time I got a deal with Universal Music Group, and I wanted to get into, my journey with music had started. But my journey with learning didn't end. So if it's reading novels, if it's reading classics, if it's reading, just pick out any case studies, right? It could be about anything. It could be about the rise of AI. It could be about Paytm. It could be about anything. There's always something to learn. So never stop learning. Always stay curious about things. And unfortunately or fortunately, as a founder, it's always going to come back to you. Thank you.
That was a masterclass.
That was a masterclass?
That was a masterclass, right?
No, I can keep going on and on about this just because I've been through that journey myself, and some things that work for me may not work for you, something that work for you may not work for me. But I think broad framework kind of remains the same unless you're in a very, very different industry.
Thank you so much, Ananya, for sharing such interesting insights into entrepreneurs and living with purpose. And thank you, Ambika, for steering us so well through this afternoon.
Guys,
now-
I mean, what she's doing with Femina is so fabulous as well. And she's a woman and she's much older than me. And just the fact that you are here and you invited me and you're asking me questions, you're putting me on the spotlight shows how confident you are in yourself. And I just wanted to appreciate you, honestly.
you.
And I would love a round of applause for Ambika, please.
yes.
Like, it's really amazing.
Me and my slightly murderous intent.
And I think it's really important for us as women to support each other, like super, super important. Because I think we have a tendency to bring other women down. It could even be subconsciously, so we need to stop doing that.